Hello, YouTubers. Welcome back to Yorkshire Media One. I am Matt with the numpty.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm with the biggest numpty.
She's the numpty.
He's king of the numpties.
No, she's the queen of the numpties. And yes, we are your hosts, your presenters, whatever you want us to be. And yes, we are cheaper and better than the BBC. I bring you facts. Capiche? So, what have I got for you today? Well, it's another Mark and Jen's talk. We're talking about the 411. And I've done a boatload of research, and I've got a boatload. It took me a while to get the evidence, but I got it. So it's an investigation of the missing 411 conspiracy. So it's up to you. People are going missing from America's national parks under mysterious circumstances, and the National Park Service is obstructing attempts to investigate these events. At least that's the claim made by author David Pauldis in his Missing 411 series of books. Pauldis has classified over 1,440 missing person cases under the Missing 411 label as its core. Missing 411 is the vague claim that something unusual is occurring related to deaths and disappearances in the national park. The concept has been steeped in the milieu of conspiracy and the supernatural, as Pauldis frequently appears on paranormal-oriented shows, radio shows and podcasts to discuss. The forthcoming documentary appears to be in the works as well. I have been unable to certain the meaning for one can only be speculate that it's slang synonym for information, although missing info isn't much better of a moniker. Interesting, Pauldis has consistently avoided providing explanation for the cause of these supposedly mysterious disappearances. He's joined the ranks of those who are just asking questions. One might assume Pauldis, founder of the North American Bigfoot Search and author of the book Tribal Bigfoot, would arrive at a cryptozoological explanation. While is hasn't happened yet, it may, as Missing 411 appears to be, an evolving mythology. When pressed for casual explanation, Pauldis has remained evasive. He sees his role as an investigator, pointing to the problem, not a cause. Alien abduction, ghost involvement, rare kidnappers, and transdimensional chupacabra can all be swapped in and out of possibility. The explanation for these apparently mystery. The topic seems to be constructed with international ability, promoting any non-scientific idea to fill a possible explanation. Despite Pauldis' appearances on Coast to Coast AM talks at MUFON conferences, and interest in Bigfoot proper skepticism requires us to entertain the Missing 411 claims independently of his history and other beliefs. We should not dismiss this idea outright in the same way we wouldn't dismiss Linus Pauling's legacy in chemistry because of his persuasive scientific beliefs about vitamin C. Could it be that the underfunded and understaffed National Park Service and related police departments lack the tools and integrity to determine that an unidentified serial killer is at work in the park? This is not outside the realm of possibility, though Pauldis has never put this particular claim forward. There is a narrative possibility he is eventually produced and data set from which of these conclusions could emerge, of course, it does seem that Paul at least learns toward more supernatural conclusions. I was fascinated by the intrigue of the missing 411. Its Blair Witch vibe would have me eagerly in line opening night at Hollywood Thriller. With this premise by curiosity was also piqued by the vagueness of the claim and the remote possibility Paradise could be onto something legitimate, but with a particular explanation. I embarked on a skeptical investigation using some of the approaches I've learnt here in the pages of Skeptical Inquirer and similar books on the subject, determined that following Ehrman's categorical imperative, do not try to explain something until you are sure there is something to be explained, was the best place to start. Are the supposed missing 411 cases revealed cases works of fiction? I use a random number generator to select several pages from Missing 411 Western United States and Canada to conduct the detailed verification for the first case on each page. Every case I checked related to real events. Paul Eyes is not making these disappearances up. One other case involved Hunter. We never returned from his car was found, but his body was not recovered. A second case involved a hiker. Paradise mentions that the law enforcement officials have said they believe foul play was involved with any unexpected loss of life. Both cases are tragedies, yet both cases brand are devoid of any apparently unusual qualities. In another case, two stranded parents with a known drug problems had a car breakdown during snowstorm. Paradise reports the parents' remains were found scattered, as was unable to confirm that the scattering, but I was able to confirm that the infant child was never located. The oldest victim in my audit involved a 69-year-old hiker climbing Mount Shasta, moving alone in the wind condition estimated at 70 miles per hour. Once he split off from his companions, he was never seen again. I was finding these cases to be fairly mundane until I arrived at the hiker's disappearance following a deadpan factual report of detailed Paradise quotes a local person saying cryptically that according to local legend, being called Luminarians lived underneath Mount Shasta, and maybe the Luminarians got Cal. The text is decoded sparsely with his and other head-scratching non sequiturs. For example, in the last case of my brief audit, a woman named Amy disappears while exercising. Her body was never recovered, but the wristwatch was found in a river bed years later. Paradise points out that the years after that woman named Anne disappeared from the same place, he felt the need to point out that both of their names start with an A and their first names only have 3 letters. I can only presume Paradise is open to a possibility that the nefarious Batman villain is at work in this area. Beware of the 3-letter killer. It's moments like these, or his statement that the fact that berries and berry bushes play a common role in disappearances is quite intriguing. Sometimes make me wonder if this work isn't satire? Could such statement be winked to the reader, or could this be a viral marketing technique for an up-and-coming video feature film? While not implausible, I don't think that's the case. Everything about Baldice's work seems sincere. My interpretation of this genuine believes something mysterious is going on. He's factual in most of his reporting and generally respectful of the missing. Never is someone faulted for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If anything, Baldice praises the missing for being in a peak physical condition, deeply experienced with outdoors, after making their disappearances by natural causes seemingly all the more unlikely. Not all missing person cases qualify as missing 411. Baldice describes the pattern of these cases, and the pattern consists of the loose criteria such as a canine rescue dog is not being able to pick up scent. If true, in given cases it's evidence for labelling it's a missing. If false, this is contrary fact can be ignored. Another optional criteria is victims being found deceased with their clothing removed, typically the pants and the shoes or boots. Baldice is quick to point out the voluntary removal of such items is totally irrational in most circumstances. I didn't know what to make of this detail until someone pointed the phenomenon of paradoxical undressing. This condition sometimes found in people experiencing hypothermia who fell irrationally hot and remove all the clothing to cool themselves. I presume Baldice, like me, must not have been aware of this fairly simple explanation. Another optional criterion is cases where a deceased body is recovered but found a distance or elevation away from their last known whereabouts. That defies common sense, yet Baldice doesn't present any Twilight Zone Esquire cases, people showing up bafflingly distant places. In truth, most of these supposedly common sense defying distances are just a few miles. Granted, terrain and conditions have a huge impact on lost hikers. I don't want to dismiss anything outright due to the magnitude, but I don't find anything exponentially in the cases I reviewed. By the strangest cases I recall was a hiker who was found 3 days later, 14 miles from his last known to be as a hiker. This is not an implausible distance to cover in that time. It would be interesting if Baldice would rank his cases by inescapable distance. If I found nothing odd about the best example, it could be simple to dismiss his second best, and so on. Failing to meet these and any other criteria of the missing 411 pattern does not disqualify a case from fitting into the category. In fact, actually, being a missing is not technically required. A minority of cases in the catalogue involve missing people who were recovered alive. Curiously, these all seem to be young children. I suppose an adult gone missing found can self-attest that their missing time was explained by ordinary circumstances. Children may not have the same development functions to coherently account for their whereabouts, thus leaving a gap to be filled with the possibilities of something unusual. With such imprecise criteria, it seems that Baldice considers himself the only person fully qualified to identify the missing person case belonging to the missing 411 or not. So what do you think?
there's got to be other reasons behind these missing people. It's not just like
Well,
people getting lost in national parks.
well, if you go through it properly, and I'll throw something in a bit later. If you go through it properly, so if you go down UFO road, oh well, they've been abducted. Well, if that's the case, there's too much evidence being laying about, so it's not that. It could be a serial killer, which is more likely.
Or wild animal attack.
It could be, or it's just made up.
Oh,
People have lied,
exactly.
basically.
People going missing. could
National
be-
parks not cooperating with an investigation. Well, they would with police. They don't have to with Paul because he's not an authority. Is he an authority on missing people? I won't say so. I will never ever say so because the people who are authority on this is police officers and things like that.
They could want to go missing, or they could get missing because they get lost in these big national parks. They lose track of where they are and get lost that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That guy on the mountain who got lost from his group, he could have got lost on the mountain and died somewhere on the mountain. And that's why his body's never been found.
That's right. It seems such precise criteria, seeing that Paul Dice considers himself the only person fully qualified to identify a missing person case belonging to the missing 411 or not. That to me is
Big-headed.
is arrogance. Really is.
Thinking he's the only one that knows.
Well, there's people out there who do know what a missing criteria is and things like that. But could it be, well, it's happening in national parks. So I put to you, could it be a real village?
I doubt it.
Well, I've got to put that out there. I mean, you've seen the film Village. It all happens in a national park. Could it be that?
Or could this guy have seen the film The Village and thought, hang on a minute, that's what's happening here? And
I'll go
because,
for it, yeah.
as we know, The Village is like that M. Night Shyamalan's films with a twist at the end, like all his films.
Yeah.
He's wrote these films,
That's
directed them and whatnot, so they're not real.
No, they're not real. I don't know. I mean, these missing from national parks, it seems to be happening all over the world. I don't know if it's still a conspiracy. It's still classified as a conspiracy theory. But in my mind, it could be a murderer. It could be a wild animal. I don't think it's anything to do with UFOs or ghosts or all like that.
People go
I don't
missing
think
all
it's
the time.
odd. Or it could be made up, or it could be, like I say, it could be made up from the film The Village. Yeah. I mean, there is people out there who think The Matrix is real, when we all know it's just a film. Same
There
as
could
The
also
Village.
be people going missing all the time that want to be gone missing. They don't want to be
Oh, yeah.
found.
Yeah, there could be, quite easily. Quite easily. So, there you go. I've done the 411. You've heard what me and Jen have had to say about it. If you've liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please like, please subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell icon, it all. That will let you know when I'm uploading another video. It's free to subscribe to me and to Gen V72. Also, please share the video to your friends and your family and to other social media like X, Facebook and Instagram. Use the comment section below. Let me know what you think to the 411 story, what I've told you about and what our conclusions are. Our conclusions are, it could be a serial killer, it could be an animal attack, or it could be people who want to go missing.
There's many, many ways of looking at it.
So, if you like it, bye for now. Bye.
Bye, Numpty.
Bye, Numpty.